What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Unpolished podcast. Today, I just got done rolling with my girl, Mack Judo. How'd you get the name Mack Judo, by the way? Just Mackenzie and then your judo thrower?
I've had it on my Instagram for quite a while, but my coach just put two and two together. It's
a cool name.
Yeah.
It's kind of part of the gig. You need a cool name.
Yeah, and it's basically since I started judo when I was 8, so it just makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a cool name. It does its job. It does its job. It's like, oh, Mack Judo. It sounds kind of cool. Yeah, it's catchy. But so I'm excited to have this conversation with you because I've always thought, and I know you won't take offense to this, but I've always thought you were a little weird.
No offense taken.
Yeah, I know.
I agree.
I knew you would, because I say that in a very like playful way too, because you're not weird. Like, I don't want to be around you weird. Like, I think you're going to do something weird. You're weird. Like, I want to understand what's going on in your brain because you're nerdy. You're super athletic. You're freaking obviously very well achieved. You've achieved a lot in the MMA world, in the judo world. Your jiu-jitsu brown belt.
4-stripe purple belt.
4-stripe purple. You're not even a brown. So 4-stripe purple brown, or 4-stripe purple, but you're a black belt in judo. So when did you get that black belt in judo?
I got it when I was 16 years old, because in judo, you're not allowed to get your black belt until you're 16.
Oh, okay. Why is that? Just because you need a certain level of strength, or?
I think it's because
like a maturity thing.
Yeah, probably a maturity thing. Because in karate,
that's like a whole judo thing. Like,
yeah.
Okay, it's not just one studio.
Yeah, because in karate, there's like 8-year-old black belts, and it's like you're not really a black belt. You're a kid.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna say you're a black belt, you should be able to defend yourself from a large human, like adult.
Yes.
And an 8-year-old can't do that, no matter how skilled you are.
Nope.
Speaking of, how did you feel? Am I what you expected today when we rolled?
I expected what I expected. You're strong, big. I knew you were holding back, and
I was holding back a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, expected. I'm a woman, and you're a big ass dude. So,
but women and men are the same.
Oh, feminists? Yeah, no, not here, not here.
Yeah, it's this movement that we got going on is just insane. I know recently Leah Thomas, her, whatever you want to say, I don't care, but her medal was pulled, right?
I think all of her medals, all his medals were pulled.
They were all pulled? Like, did the NCAA take all of them? And did they pass them to Riley Gaines?
Yeah, I believe they did.
I didn't hear about it.
I see all the clickbait titles, and I don't like to dive too much into it unless I know what the hell's going on. But I'm pretty sure that Riley Gaines went to court and Leah Thomas lost her championship at least. Right? Does that sound about right? I don't know.
No clue.
If you can look it up.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
I read an article saying they gave all of the medals to Riley Gaines because she was the one who
they took the medals and gave them to Riley.
That's what I read, but you know,
like I said,
clickbait.
I feel like a lot of the clickbait stuff, you know, that would definitely be very clickbaity, pulling medals and giving them to someone else.
It would make sense though, because Riley Gaines was right behind Leah Thomas.
Well, I know, because Riley tells it from her perspective. When they both won, they tied. They got the exact same time. And they're like, we're going to give the medal to Leah basically for a photo op opportunity. And Riley, we'll send you another one in the mail or something like that. And it's like, what? Are you kidding me? We just had a women's sporting event. And you're going to give the medal to the man when you tied. Like, they can't even stand up there together. You know, it's so bizarre.
It's all political.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And common sense, I think, is slowly coming back. Well, at least you hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so.
You hope common sense is coming back. But so anyways.
It looks like, she lost this legal challenge.
So that was in 2024. Leah Thomas had her attempt to overturn a World Aquatics policy barring her from competing in women's races dismissed. Thomas, who's a transgender woman, argued the policy is discriminatory and wanted to take legal action against it earlier this year. Blah, blah, blah. Court Policy states transgender women have to have less than 5. Oh my God. This is the whole less testosterone thing. I think that's so stupid. You take all my testosterone today, Mac, I'm still smashing you. You know what I mean?
I
And
agree.
it's nothing against you. It's just I'm a man and you're a woman.
It's just biology.
It's just biology. It's just basic biology. I do not understand. Like at that point, okay, well then maybe we should have, oh, how big are your arms? Arms can only be X amount of length. Legs can only be X amount of length. You can only be this tall. You can only be this much weight. And you can, I mean, it's never ending. It's never ending the way you can break that down.
Yeah, I don't see anything in here.
According to
About
BBC News
turning
report,
over
World
rules.
Aquatics voted in 2022 to prevent transgender women from competing in elite events. Is not, yeah, see, the NC2A is not taking medals away.
Oh, clickbait.
And
It was clickbait.
It was clickbait.
Gay.
Gay.
Whatever. As long as she doesn't have the title anymore, keep your fake little medals. That's fine.
For sure.
Freaking 6 foot something gigantor against like 5 foot something females.
And
Like,
still
come
tied.
on, dude. And still tied. How embarrassing is that?
Super.
Because it
There's
was
so much too. Like you guys were talking about, just all the differences between men and women. It's like mitochondria buildups in your cells, like bone density, even like cycling, the width of your pelvis.
Yeah.
So like
Mhm.
my femur is more straight and in line with the ground than yours.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I can produce more force downwards than you can.
It's
That's
science.
so weird. Science, men can produce more force. That's so weird. It goes to me when I think about it, and call me a caveman, whatever. But I look back at like the hunter gathering, prehistoric days. Who was hunting? You
Men.
want to tell me any women were hunting?
Mm-mm.
Maybe they were shooting bows, but I think it's really, really unlikely. And there's a scientific, biologic reason for that. And it's been obvious for how long? And now all of a sudden it's a gray area. Well, what is a woman? They don't know what a woman is.
Pushing the agenda.
Yeah, but they do now because they want to make women have to sign up for the draft. You see that? Bill?
No, I did not see this.
Yeah.
Something they're proposing in the House or the Senate or something, and it's all men and women will be automatically signed up for selective service. But now they know that, oh, well, these are the women and they weren't signed up before. Interesting.
So now we're not equal again.
Damn. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get into, well, let me go back, because I feel like a lot of fighters tend to have like a pretty maybe rough childhood, rough background, and that's kind of how or why they get into fighting. I mean, you see the story so much with a lot of like the bigger fighters. So what was your childhood like? Like, how did you get into fighting?
Oh, well, I got into fighting with my mom. Put me in the judo because I was hyperactive as a kid, and she thought it would help, and it did, because I didn't focus on anything in my life at all until I met judo. But before everyone in my family knew what happened to me, before I could even remember, I was sexually abused since before I can remember, until the age of 12, on a daily basis, every day. And that was with someone who I thought I could trust. So growing up, I was lost, empty, didn't know how to control anything.
Is this like one of those situations where you were so young you didn't even realize that you were being abused?
I knew
or like you knew it was happening and
I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know how to do anything about it, because, I don't know, you feel kind of embarrassed in a way that it's happening to you,
course.
even though you're a victim and a small child at that. And it was happening since before I could remember anything, so it was kind of like the norm, you know?
right. It was almost like, oh, it's happening again.
Yeah.
It's just like part of the schedule, as disgusting as that might sound.
Horrible.
So I mean, what happened with that situation? So how, why, what is who did it? Like, can you share that stuff?
Yeah. My grandma's ex-husband did it, and he was in prison for like 5 years, but of course they released him because they like releasing pedophiles for some reason. And he's out there living his life I've actually ran into him a couple years ago by accident, and I was on a nature trail with my boyfriend Juan, and I just froze up. I didn't know what to do. And
You saw him on a nature trail?
Yeah, where kids can go, and he's allowed there. And I
What
think,
a perfect opportunity to beat the absolute crap out of someone.
you know, I thought about it, but in that time and moment, I just froze up because I just never knew how to handle it growing up. And I just recently overcame this trauma, and that's why I'm speaking about it now for the first time to anyone ever.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm growing as a person.
Dang. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad that we can give you the platform for sure, and I appreciate
it.
you sharing it. Man, that's rough, dude.
It's rough, but
So when did sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Oh no, I was gonna say I think this will help other young people. Like maybe it'll help them with their struggles.
Give them a little voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So when's like the first time you remember, like when do you remember that becoming like, okay, I need to freaking say something?
That's actually funny. I was never gonna say anything. My mom found a journal I had, and I was writing down everything, and it was in my room. And it's just I came to my grandma's one day, and everyone was huddled in the house, and my ex-grandpa had a look on his face like fuck. So I kind of felt deep down what it was about, and that's when.
And that's the guy.
Yeah. And I'm like, and that's when it all. My mom took handle of it. I do not blame my mom whatsoever because these guys are good at hiding it. So it was no one's fault but his.
Damn. Man, we just started. We just got hit with a boulder. I knew you kept hinting at it. You're like, oh, are you sure? Like we should put a trigger warning on this show.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, so did you seek help after that? Like what was that process like?
Oh man. I know going to the court was really hard because at that time, until just recently, I couldn't talk or think about it. So, and I barely remember anything from my childhood because all those suppressed thoughts, I think I suppressed them. So I have a hard time remembering anything, but I know that it was happening for a very long time.
Like subconsciously, you kind of buried it.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But martial arts was a great outlet, and that's probably why I'm so good at it because of what I've been through. And I look at it as a positive thing. If that didn't happen, then I wouldn't be good at what I do, you know?
You don't think you'd be a good fighter without that happening?
Not as good because my personal opinion, it puts you in a mindset where like you ain't no bitch, you know? You've been through a lot and fighting's hard and there's a lot of discipline. And I think that really helped a lot, as crazy as it sounds.
No, I mean, I get it for sure. As nasty or bad or ugly as something can be, you do come out stronger, better, more coherent, more understanding, more experienced person on the other side. So I could see how that would. I mean, someone who's been through no struggles. I mean, they're not a very
not resilient.
Yeah, you're not a resilient person. Like if you've been spoon fed your whole life, and we all know. Everyone can name a spoon-fed person, and we can all describe them the exact same way. Like they expect things like their way.
They're entitled.
They don't like stress. They don't like having stress be put on them. They don't like when things are hard.
Very little things could break them down.
Right.
So
I've always been a person where I like feel like I thrive on pressure. And it physically and mentally, and it's definitely a good and bad thing for sure. Definitely a good and bad thing because I'll bury myself in a million different projects, and I'll realize it later. It's like, fuck, why didn't I just focus on that one? Because I'm an idea guy. Alex knows this.
I'm very aware.
I have a new idea like every other day. So I'm sure Alex is like, it's fucking Steve with another idea.
He's like, when are we gonna do this?
Yeah.
We don't stop learning till the day we die.
Yeah.
You know.
100%. 100%. So you were fighting before.
Oh, well, I was in judo.
Not fighting. You were in judo. That's what I meant.
I was in judo when I was 8, and then I picked up jiu-jitsu when I was about 13, then wrestling in high school around 15, and then MMA when I met my boyfriend Juan and we started dating in like 2020. That's when I picked up the MMA. And it just...
My bad.
It's all good.
No, I know. I got a lot of crap going on. I know. No excuses. I just had to make sure it's not important. 1 second. Turn my sound off. Okay, silent mode.
And I think everything that all of my training is just came hand in hand in MMA, and I was just like, I just want to try it. Why not? And it ended up being I was actually decent at it.
So when was your first fight?
First fight was I think 2022.
Oh, really? So not that long ago.
Yeah.
I thought you started before that for some reason.
I started training in 2020, but my first fight 2022.
You've been around the block with trainers too, right? Like you've had, I know you work with Buckles, you work, because that's kind of where I like started, so to speak. But you work with Buckles, and then well, it was really just that was your judo stuff, yeah.
Well, judo stuff was a coach named Rhett Surrey, and he's the one who really pushed the judo. And then Buckles was also in judo, so he helped there, but he's more of like a jiu-jitsu guy. Buckles also got his black belt in judo, so he knows judo pretty well. But I've known him since I was like 13, and he got me into jiu-jitsu. And then I met Roy, which is also a big part of it. And then those were just the main trainers I had until I met Brett and Vinny.
Yeah, so how did you meet Brett and Vinny? Because Brett's been on the show.
Yeah.
For the people that are just tuning in for this one, if you guys want to check out Brett's show, Brett is like episode
like 8.
Like 8, yeah, episode 7 or 8.
I met Brett when I met my boyfriend Juan, because Juan was training with Brett before he even met me for a bit, and then he just introduced me to Brett, and Brett wanted to see if I was interested in fighting, and of course, yes, because I fucked up to want to get hit in the face, I guess. So.
Yeah, you need to have. I was telling Joey, you listen to Joey's episode. I was like, you got to have a little bit of a screw loose to like want to fight.
That's what Brett says.
You got to have, like to want, like no, nothing's going on, but then you get in this cage, and the goal is to just essentially murder the other person.
Yep.
You have to have a little bit of a screw loose for it, but I mean, the love for competition is also there. Like, I keep going back and forth on it. I can't seem to dedicate the time. I got all my ideas. All my entrepreneurial ideas going on. Okay, so you met Brett. You started training in 2020. You had your first fight 2022.
Yes.
What was that process like? Because I know Brett is really strict.
High standards.
Super high standards. So talk about that process, like the training regimen and what your day-to-day life was like for that.
It definitely changed drastically, because I was going from training 2 days a week at jiu-jitsu to 5 to 6 days a week for MMA, like almost immediately. And I took the transition well, because I've always been disciplined. I've always loved this. You can't really do it if you don't have your whole heart into it.
Hang on, give me 1 second, guys.
Okay. Yeah, you're really easy to train in the weight room. So our just for the audience sake, our relationship has grown quite a bit, because we now we sort of sponsor One Touch. Or vice versa, or whatever, however you want to think of it. But we've been training now. How long have we been training?
Probably a good almost a year now since I've been to
it's
TNT.
Been that long?
Basically, since after my last fight, last September, I believe.
And why did you what was the thought process behind like getting someone like me?
I felt grateful, because I knew how good you are, and you spend your life doing this kind of things, and also amongst other things. But you're really good at what you do, and the proof is in the pudding. I'm getting more beefy, more strong.
Yeah.
I feel more confident.
You feel super strong.
Thanks, man.
For a 130-pound girl. you feel like for real, you feel really strong. So I definitely, and you could see it too. Like you got some freaking muscle now, dude.
Hell yeah.
You're back today. You're walking in the building. I was like,
For real?
sheesh.
Nice.
Yeah, your back's popping.
Yes.
Your back got freaking huge.
It's thanks to TNT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take partial. I don't like to take. I hate trainers where they're like, this is my athlete and this is our success. It's like, no. This is your success. This is your effort.
You gave me the tools to do it.
I gave you the tools. Like I like the way I like to put it is like, if this is our chef table, I got the ingredients laid out, and then I just kind of push them over to you, and you gotta bake the dish.
It is up to the athlete if they want it or not.
100%. And you are super easy, because the 99% that you do outside of the gym, one, you're already doing, and two, if you do fall off, you quickly get back on.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that we have with clients, it's really easy to motivate someone when they're there. It's super easy. Pick up this weight, do this many squats. Pick up this weight, do this bench. Okay, fix this form, do this. But then what do you do when you go home? You know what I mean?
Yep.
All these clients, they're begging for results, but they spend their time on their phone. They don't sleep. They don't eat right. They eat too much. They eat junk food. They drive through McDonald's. They fuck around. And ultimately, what that means to me is that you don't actually want results.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the average person. But yeah, I would say in that category, 100%, you are not the average person. You do kind of have like, I like to joke, you kind of have like that autistic sort of like laser focus.
Everyone's autistic in their own way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you have that like laser focus, and when you're in the gym, you're freaking blinders on, and you get your work done, and you do it. You not only do it, but you freaking push it every single time. I actually have to pull you back more than I push you forward.
Yep, that's my toxic trait.
Yeah, I have to pull you back more than I push you forward. Like when you're trying to go stupid freaking heavy on a squat, I'm like, dude, why are you going so heavy?
Yeah.
Just chill out. So when was your first fight? It was 2022.
Yes.
And you won.
Yep, in the first round.
So this was amateur.
Mm-hmm.
So talk a little bit about your path in the amateur world, because you had to quickly go to the professional world.
I had to, because there was no girls who wanted to fight me. So I kind of had to be pushed into the pro. Even I have a lot less experience than a lot of pros, but that don't really mean shit, obviously. I think it's good that I got pushed to the pro, because now I'm set to an even higher standard that I have to follow, and it'll just overall make me the best fighter in the future.
How many fights did you have as an amateur?
4.
Is that pretty typical? Like 4 fights? And then, I mean, now it kind of seems like it is now.
Maybe, because there are other people who try getting fights in amateur and say they're really good. People don't want to fight them. But usually I come across amateur records that are like 8 and something, sometimes 11 and something before they go pro. So they have a lot more cage experience.
I was going to say, do you feel like that hurt you?
No, I think everything happens for a reason. I'm on my path, especially with the experience part, because all my fights in amateur ended in the first round. So I didn't even get the full rounds. And my last fight.
All of your fights as an amateur?
Yes.
So all of your fights as an amateur ended first round?
Mm-hmm. And also my first pro fight in the first round.
How many pro fights do you have?
2.
2 pro fights.
This upcoming one will be my 3rd.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Well, actually, let's talk about what's your schedule like right now, because you're really big on social media. You're like, oh, I don't have time. Like, oh, it's just a stupid excuse. You just got to make time.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your schedule like right now?
Okay. I work a full-time job Tuesday through Friday, 8 hours a day. And then right after that, I actually work out on my lunch break. So I get my lunch break workout. And then after work, I go straight to TNT or Fighters Strength and Conditioning with my teammate Jeff. And then I have class. And if I do not have strength and conditioning with you guys or with Jeff, I have a private. So I train like 3-4 times a day, almost every day, on top of my full-time job.
Damn.
So when people try telling me they don't have time, I'm like, sorry, you're not a parent. You're not this. You're not that. You're just a lazy, lazy excuses.
The first thing I would ask someone was, do you have kids?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a whole nother level of busy. It's like a totally different busy.
But there's that, and you still find time to do shit. I know multiple moms who are fighting, and they train 3 times a day still. So it is really just an excuse having no time.
100%. 100%. And I definitely use my kids as an excuse sometimes, and I will fully admit that. But it's I could sit here and play devil's advocate all day. It's totally hard having kids, but at the same time, it's like working out. I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're not training for a fight, you can at least be working out.
Yep.
And most parents will say, well, I don't have time because I have kids. Well, I don't know how you play with your kids, but we run around, we wrestle.
Work out with your kids.
Right. It's like the perfect excuse to get up and move. And if you're handing your kid an iPad, I think you're a fucking loser all the time. I get it sometimes. Me and my wife are actually just talking about, like, we've done a really good job of no iPads. Our kids do not have dedicated video screens.
It's all about balance, you know.
Right. And they're going to grow up in the world of video screens. They're going to grow up in the world of touchpads and iPads. And I'm pretty sure all of their schooling is going to be online in some sense. So it's necessary to an extent. But man, if we can get them outside and we can play with them, we're going to go do that. Like, we were sprinting around. I got super sweaty yesterday. I was running around the playground with them. And we were playing chase. We were playing follow the leader. We were climbing. I just don't. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how do you get fat as a parent?
You don't respect yourself.
It's definitely a lack of respect.
Yeah.
And it's ignorance.
People get too comfortable in life, you know?
Yeah, you're married, you have kids.
You should never be comfortable.
You don't gotta look sexy anymore, and
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. I know it's stupid, but it's just I can't. I do not understand how people get to that point. I just don't get it. Like, I get it, but I don't get it, because when I look in the mirror, I mean, I pick myself apart right now. I'm by no means am I some sort of Greek god, but I see something like every day that I want to work on or get better at, or if it's a skill too, there's always some sort of skill I'm trying to get better at. Are these people looking in the mirror and they're just like,
No,
good job?
I don't think so, because I think most of them are depressed because of how undisciplined and fat, lazy they are.
Oh, I think it gets to a hole. Like, you dig yourself a hole, and then people are too lazy to dig themselves out.
It's too uncomfortable. They don't want to go through the process. It's a hard process. But it's harder living and suffering being fat and lazy.
Much harder. It's a long-term thing too, because we're in that one-click society, so everyone wants everything. Like, oh, my Amazon Prime's getting here. Even, have you seen in the city, you can get an Amazon Prime and you can get it within hours, depending on what it is. If you're like in the city, if you're in a certain location, so people are like, I want my stuff now. I want my stuff now. I definitely think that's rolled over into people having trouble with long-term goals. Like, there's just they're just lazy.
They're too entitled.
Way too entitled.
Yeah.
I think our natural reward systems are hijacked too, because just like the amount of dopamine that we can experience from flipping on social media and stuff, like, usually that comes from long-term delayed gratification. You get the dopamine from doing the work, but we have access to it so easily, so you can just get it.
Also,
And
it
now you
goes
don't
like
need
this. It goes like this, like boom, and then spikes down, spikes up. So that's not good for our brain chemistry whatsoever.
Yeah. I think we're overstimulated, and we're so unimpressed by extremely impressive shit. For instance, like, if I were to show someone gymnastics trials, like Simone Biles, like doing a triple backflip, they'd be like, yeah, cool. That's cool. But it's one of the craziest things ever to flip blind at an extremely high speed. We did backflips.
Yeah.
Imagine like 3 of those. That's what those guys are doing. You wouldn't be able to feel like, it's just like repetition practice. That's really what it is. Because there's no way they see where they're landing. You can't see that. You're just, and these people are spinning and flipping at the same time, and we're so desensitized to it because we scroll through social media and all that stuff. It's just like, yeah, whatever.
I think it's because a lot of people are haters too. There's a lot of haters.
I think that's a big part.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part for sure. And social media has done that. Social media has done a lot of negative, but it has done some good.
I think it's done a lot of good.
I think it's done a lot of good, but it's also
easy to see the negative.
It's on, we like to pick at the negative. It's like when you write a review for a restaurant. If you have a really, really good experience, odds are you're not going to write about your really, really good experience. But if you have a really, really bad experience, oh, I'm writing that 1 star. No, it's just something about it. So you had your fights as an amateur. You had to bump up to pro. What weight class are you at, by the way? in this time period? Because I know we're going up in weight class.
Yeah, I usually fight at straw weight, which is 115, but
is that easy for you to get to that?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm disciplined and I don't start a week before weigh-ins, it's a huge ass scientific process. But now I'm fighting at 125 because Bellator and PFL don't want to fund the straw weight class. So now I'm flyweight, which is fine because now I could get bulkier with muscle and make weight.
Well, I was gonna say you can make weight a lot easier now, so it's probably way less. It's just water weight.
I just have to cut 5 pounds of water.
Yeah, it's just water weight.
Yep.
Weigh in, and you're good to go.
Yep.
So you'll feel better.
Yep, probably.
Fighting. Did you feel like you cutting down 115 was pretty draining?
I mean, it was draining in a way, but I still felt good,
Yeah, by the time fight rolled around.
Yeah, because I'm so small framed. Like, I could cut down. Maybe if I cut down less than that, I would feel drained. But my coaches really give me the right tools to help me weight cut down to that, so I never feel.
How long do you start the cut process out?
Well, whenever we usually find out a fight 3 months out, unless it's like short notice, like 2 or 3 months out, and then we start cutting what we need to cut then and there, but drastically, very slowly, so our bodies aren't like, what the fuck, if you go from square A to square B right away, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, you just gotta be smart about it, and there is a scientific process behind it, because you got to know what's right for you. You got to know what to eat, when to eat it, what kind of foods to eat. So it's...
So I have a couple basic rules when I'm cutting.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your basic rules when it comes to your food intake, when it comes to cutting? Do you like cut the carbs out? Do you front load? Do you what do you do differently with your diet? Mainly. I
mainly just have less portions, like less volume, but I still have the carbs and stuff because I do need carbs to keep going. Like rice and sweet potatoes are my go-to carbs. Also,
what kind of rice?
White rice.
Mm-hmm.
White, organic, usually jasmine rice.
Jasmine rice is kind of my go-to if I have rice.
Yes.
Your first pro fight, you won first round.
Mm-hmm.
So were you nervous?
No.
You weren't nervous at all?
I've never felt really nervous in any of my fights.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe because I've been in the competition area for so long.
Did you do judo competitions and stuff?
Yeah, I used to do them almost every single weekend for more than
So it's
10
super
years.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Interesting. What's a judo competition like compared to jiu-jitsu? Is it kind of the same thing where
it's the same shit show? You wait and you wait and you wait and then you get called, and then sometimes you have your first match and then it's boom, boom, boom. Other times you have a first match and you got to wait like another 45 minutes to finish your division. So it's kind of like...
That's a big reason I haven't signed up for more jiu-jitsu competitions because at least the first one that I won, I had my first match, and then I had to wait like 45 minutes for my next one.
Yeah.
And then I had to wait again for my other one. And then the second competition I did, it was like, all right, I got 2 hours. And then they're like, oh, Steve, come to mat 3. I'm like, what the?
They're very unorganized.
Yeah. Where the hell did that come from? So,
yeah.
But then you have to block out your whole day.
Yep.
You have to block out your whole damn day. You have no idea when you're going to go.
And waiting is so draining. Like just waiting, anticipating.
It is. And you try to get hype, and then you're hyped for hour and a half.
Yeah.
Did you have the same experience, Alex, when you did your competition?
My last one was so weird because I knew what mat I was on. I was just like hanging out over there. And I was like, all right, I still have like an hour before my division starts. And then all of a sudden they called my division. Then they had one match for my division in the gi. And then they went back to the kids division. And so then I was like, I'm the second match in my division. So like I should be ready. So I'm like standing there ready, trying to stay like loose and warm. And there was like 6 or 7 more kids matches. And then I went. And I was like, what the fuck? So now I'm like, damn, I'm kind of exhausted from like jumping around and staying warm. Like,
yeah. I remember that. I remember I was like trying to bounce around, and I just got so tired of just bouncing around and like trying to get my mind right. Even though it's not a very taxing thing, but it is like when you get your nerves up and you get excited, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, and I just wanted to like
energy's kind of down now.
And not go in there and be like cold and stiff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
probably ended up cold and stiff when I went in there. So I was like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah,
I like
for
wearing
anyone-
sweats. I like wearing layered sweats waiting because at least keep my muscles warm.
You just did a judo competition.
No, I was. Oh yeah, like
yeah,
a
you
month or
tossed
two
some
ago
big
I
tree
did.
of a woman. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
that was my first judo tournament since I was like 16 years old.
Why'd you do that? Just cause?
Just cause I wanted to. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
you tossed some
She was 230
230.
pounds.
Tossed some 230-pound girl. Did she quit? By the way, I don't know if I ever.
No,
asked.
no, she didn't quit.
Oh, I thought when you threw her,
Oh,
because you threw her down. I'm talking about during your match.
huh.
You tossed her, and then it looked like she landed on her arm weird or something.
That was the first throw I did on her, and she did land on it weird, but she continued the judo match. And then the second one, I threw her with the big point, which means if you have an opponent in judo, it means the match is over. It's kind of like a sub in jiu-jitsu. Oh.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So she, like TKO type deal, like I'm done.
I mean, she never quit. The match just stopped.
Oh,
and
okay.
I just won the match.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, you tossed that big girl hard. Like hard.
It's
And
all about the little guy.
It is. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how well you can throw me because you tossed me today.
Mm.
It was effortless.
It's all about momentum.
Momentum and technique.
Yeah.
It's a big step like under me. I felt that too. Like when you went to throw me, it's like a big step like kind of through my legs.
It really helps because my hips are
Low.
way lower than your hips, and that's what you got to do in judo. You got to get your hips under their hips typically,
That makes
and
sense.
then they'll go over. I mean, what can they do? They can't really.
You went judo, jiu-jitsu, and then MMA.
And wrestling before MMA. I
Oh, you
did
did?
wrestling in high school.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
How well did you do in high school?
Um,
Was there a women's division, or did you have
no,
to, you had
I
to
had
wrestle
to
the
wrestle
boys?
guys. I had a winning record, but I mean,
Really?
I did lose my fair share of matches, but I also won a lot too. So it was kind of.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you tell? No, I don't think you did tell me that. I did not know you were a wrestler.
Yeah, I was.
That's pretty cool. Did you go? Did you have any accolades for that? Did you make regionals? Did you make state? Did you?
When I was JV my first 2 years, I made sectionals. Oh, funny story. I beat all the guys in the first round for sectionals, and then they misplaced my name in the division, and I wasn't able to move on to state because they made a mistake in the online reports or whatever. So they just gave me a free movie ticket and said, "Fuck you," basically. And I was like, is this by accident or on purpose? Because I was the only girl name in that bracket, and I beat them like I beat them right away. You know, there shouldn't be no mistake. But for varsity, I didn't make it to any regionals or sectionals because that's when, you know, guys are stronger and shit than girls, and they were
the dick
just,
and balls takes over, and
Yeah.
the testosterone,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did win in varsity. I kind of won the same amount of matches as I lost in varsity, but for a JV, I had way more wins than.
Scrawny little boys that didn't
Yeah.
hit puberty yet.
Yeah.
Was it JV and then varsity, or was there like a freshman, sophomore, JV, varsity?
No, it was a
JV and varsity. Yeah, you probably didn't have the numbers. Where did you grow up? Did I even ask you that yet? I'm a horrible.
I grew up in
podcaster.
Twin Lakes, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. How'd you end up
Mhm.
here?
Well, I mean, I'm still in Twin Lakes.
Oh, you're still in
Mhm.
Twin Lakes. And what high school did you go to? Is that?
Wilmot.
Oh, Wilmot.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, that is Twin Lakes. All right. I was thinking Twin Lakes was like really far away for some reason. I don't know why. So let's talk about your fight that you have coming up.
Okay.
So I guess this is recent fight news, right?
Yeah.
So when did you get the news for this fight?
Probably got it like a few weeks ago.
And that's a call from, is Brett like your manager? No, you have another manager.
Yo, Brett and Vinny are both basically my manager because they're the ones who say yes or no to fights, and they just ask me, "Hey, this girl," and I'm always gonna say yes. So.
Because you're a psycho. There was a meme. I meant to ask you this. There was a meme of you. I think Brett sent it to me.
Oh God.
It was your face, and you got your freaking tooth sticking out, and you just look like a psycho. You're like, "Ah." and then it was the other girl's face, and I'm pretty sure it was like a bloodied face or something like that. Or it was like her like kind of whining or crying or something. And the meme was, who do you think won this fight?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think that was my last fight. My last.
I laughed so hard at that.
It was pretty funny.
That's so funny. We have to find that. If we could find that and stitch that in, so freaking funny.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Brett said that to me. And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Because the people that know you are like, oh my God, that's so mad.
I actually think an online website did that. And then Brett showed us. And it was so funny. It was a good laugh.
So that was your first pro fight when you did that?
That was my second pro fight.
That was your second pro fight.
That was my first fight ever that I went the entire distance with a girl before.
So it's decision?
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah, it was a unanimous decision, so it wasn't anywhere close. So that's good.
Good.
It's kind of bummer I went to a decision, but kind of not either because I got that experience.
I was going to say you've been a first rounder forever, so it's nice to have that cage experience because you've had nothing past the first round. No, the second round.
Nothing past 2 minutes, really.
Other than that fight.
Yeah.
Do you have expectations for this coming fight?
I'm pretty confident. You know, I'm confident in myself and Brett, and I'm also confident in Brett and Vinny the way they are, their standards. I think it's gonna turn out in my favor.
Who's this girl? What's her name?
Her fight name is Mickey Rampage. I'm not too sure about her real name, but she's about 5'11", 6 foot tall.
And you're what?
5'2".
You said it's like a 9-inch reach advantage.
I mean, I would assume. I'm not really sure how much it is, but I mean, I'm guessing it's probably like
What's her experience?
I'm not sure her experience. I'm sure she's been doing it for a while because she's also pro. I know that she's mainly a striker.
Where's this at, by the way?
It's in Hammond, Indiana, at the Horseshoe Casino.
Oh God, you're too damn far.
I mean, it's only like 2 or 3 hours. I have a ticket link coming soon. I can send it to you just in case. Send it to you guys if you.
Yeah, I'll definitely try. I'll look into it.
I might be able to swing it.
That'd be a cool experience. Can we get backstage passes?
I wish.
What's your mindset? I feel like your mindset doesn't change. You personally.
I got a strong mind.
But I'm saying in camp, out of camp.
Oh yeah, it's just the same.
I feel like nothing's changed. Nothing changes for you because you're just like, oh, I'm just grinding.
Yeah, I just grind. When I'm outside of camp, it's not really like camp, but in a way, I still train almost as much as I am in camp. So it's kind of like, you know, I just am the same, like you said.
And you're dating Juan.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it way easier.
Yeah, because he's very disciplined and also a fighter as well. And he does a lot for me. We support each other. We help each other out. And we understand the struggles we go through.
I was going to say, I feel like fighters kind of need to date each other.
Yeah, you don't want to date someone who does not understand what you do because that's when they get needy and they're like, oh, you're going to training again and not spending time with me. Some bitch ass bullshit, you know.
Usually you're going to hear that from the girl in the relationship.
Yep, usually the women.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could see that.
You get it from Mack.
I feel like quality time for your relationship would be mat time.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time together. There's not really any moments we're apart besides we both work our separate full-time jobs.
Yeah, we got to get Juan back in the gym. Yeah,
he's actually been talking about it. He's just been working mad overtime to get those paychecks fatter, and then he's going to focus on training 100% again.
Does he have fights coming up?
Not.
Or is there anything in the works for him?
Not that we know of, but he's staying Juan's staying fight ready the entire time. So when we do get the call, he's ready to say yes.
He's got a crazy story too, no?
Yeah, you should have him on here too.
Isn't he like a gang member or something? I could have swore, gang member. I could have swore you said something like that.
Yeah, you definitely have to get the story from him though, because I'd rather have him tell his past. You know, it's a really good story to do.
Be good to hear from.
He has overcame so much, and he's a great man now. Great boyfriend.
I could feel that. I could feel that from Juan. Like you can tell, like he's like a good guy. He's got a good energy, which is surprising because he's had a rough past. But the rough past made him the good guy.
I think having a rough past and whether you're strong or weak-minded determines if you're gonna blossom or sink. You just gotta have that
do you think being strong-minded or weak-minded is like a trait that you build and nurture, or is it something that's kind of inside of you?
I think it's something that's in you because I just don't understand where my mindset came from. I mean, my mom was always hardworking as a single mom. Maybe that pushed me to do that too. But overall,
So you're more of a nature than a nurture?
I think
the
so.
argument of nature versus nurture. Are you familiar with? So nature is like how you're born versus nurture, how you're raised. So you think you're kind of born with the quality of hard work.
I would think so, but who knows, right?
Alex, chime in. Are you nature or nurture?
I'm 100% nurture.
Really?
Discipline, grit, like all that's a skill that you can get better at.
You're 100% nurture?
Not 100%. I mean, you're gonna have like
you're gonna have some nature.
You're gonna have some natural tendencies. Mack might have had just more of that kind of inbuilt when she was born. Like that's just kind of who she was. But I think anyone can achieve great discipline, become really gritty, really resilient. It's just putting in the time. It's hard at first, and then you get better at it.
I agree with you too.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying as well. I think it's like if we took 100 people and we said plank as long as you can. Who's going to quit when it starts to hurt? Who's going to push through a little bit of pain? And who's going to just sit there until they die? Because to me, I can plank for a long ass time. If there was incentive to do so, I could plank for a long ass time. But I'm not just going to freaking plank to plank.
I don't know.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Like you could tell a lot about a person with how they work out.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
Like, how much weight are you going to grab for your bicep curls? Are you going to grab something that's really hard? Or are you going to grab something that's like, oh, I'm just going to do the reps? And I honestly think that's a big problem. A lot of people don't see results. They do the reps, but they don't find that push, that weight that's going to be like, oh shit, this is heavy.
Or just have enough discipline to not cheat your reps, go halfway. Like it starts getting hard, so you don't fully extend, and you kind of whip it back up a little bit, pop some hips
cheat it up
there. Yeah, it's like that's a big difference because you always feel the little devil on your shoulder, like you can just don't squat so low this time.
That's why I have a business.
Just a little bit less.
You worked hard enough, you know.
That's why I have that business. People meet the little devil and they're like, I gotta get away from this guy. How do I get away from this guy? Oh, I'm gonna have Steve and Colton and Ethan. I'm gonna have them tell me what to do, because then there is no devil. There's no little devil on your shoulder when you're at TNT. How could there be?
Yeah. It's so much easier to lift there too, like to push myself. When I'm like, damn, we did those cluster squats.
I was just about to say, you did your cluster squats,
and I was just like,
when you were warming up, you're like,
I was just
this is gonna fucking suck. I was like, I don't care.
I did the math, and I'm just like, God damn it, this is a lot of weight. I'm like, we got to do it. And then I hear you when I'm at the bottom, and you're like, get up. And I'm like, yeah, I got to go.
Yes, sir.
Did Caitlin tell you what happened to her?
No.
She failed on the second cluster of the first set. I was like, that was all you. Like that, like you should have had that. She's like, I know. She's like, I wasn't thinking right. I was like, I know you weren't. But she failed on the second cluster of the first set.
Damn it, Caitlin.
It was a lot of weight though. 80%.
Yeah.
You said I'm not seeing you tonight?
No, I have my fight paperwork to turn in and fill out all the bullshit.
Did you do a physical?
I did that today, though. That was my doctor's appointment today.
Okay. You do a physical, you do your fight paperwork, and then where? Oh, it's in Indiana. That's right.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna go either on a run around the town or put the sauna suit on and do the bike for my workout for.
Because you're 130 right now, you got to be 125.
Yeah, like right now, I'm not trying to like lose weight, but I still want to sweat a little. You know, just I don't feel comfortable if I do not sweat.
I feel you.
Yeah,
I feel you. And a good sweat, it just never feels bad.
It's therapeutic because you're like, I just did something that's beneficial to my life.
Oh man, I tell people this all the time, especially the people that don't work out. I wish I can give you that feeling without making you put in the work, just so you can be like, ooh, I tasted that. I tasted what it feels like. Because like post-workout feeling, there's nothing better.
Doing something super hard and then
there's
you did it.
Nothing better. There's nothing better than realizing your physical potential. And our bodies, I was just telling someone this the other day. Our bodies are made to move.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of standard are you setting for yourself, your kids, the people around you, if you're not optimizing your ability to move? You're just wasting an opportunity to see how strong you are, how far you can hit a golf ball, how fast you can run a mile, how far you can do whatever. If it's shot put, how many freaking belts can I get? How many professional wins in MMA can I get?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, at least for me, I would sit on my deathbed and I'd be like, man, I should have done this.
What
I should
if?
have done this. What if I did this?
Mhm.
Everyone's going to become old and frail. At some point, everyone's going to become old and frail. But what's going to be your story?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you know what? I pulled back on weightlifting because I didn't want to hurt my back. I wanted a healthy back for when I was 80. What?
That makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So I feel like most people are just avoiding the work, just like we've been talking about. They're just avoiding the work. But when it comes to fighting and you in the cage, what is like, do you have the same mindset when you practice and when you fight in the cage?
Yeah. I have the same mindset for anything I attack in life, really.
Because I feel
honestly.
like in the cage, I don't know. Yeah,
Oh, I mean, it is a different like feeling in the cage, but like the whole like working aspect, it's like I need to train like this in training to be like this in fighting, like inside the cage. So it is similar in a lot of ways.
it's crazy to me that you don't feel the pressure of it.
I mean, I feel like
I feel like I
something.
just totally shit my pants in my first fight.
But,
Dude, you're in the cage to literally try to kill someone. That person's trying to kill you.
I think
In a sense, like they don't want you to die, but I mean,
Right.
Right before you die.
yeah, that's right. When you get knocked out, they stop. Like someone steps in and stops the fight.
I think the biggest thing is the coach is preparing you, and the more you're prepared, the less negative feelings you feel. You know. So,
And Brett's a prepared guy.
Yep, Brett and Vinny. Mhm.
Like they're extra prepared in that category too.
Yes.
He emphasized Brett. I didn't get to work with Vinny a ton. I worked with Vinny like maybe twice, but Brett made that very clear. Like you're not fighting until I tell you can fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
That's what he should be.
that speaks to the success of the team too.
He's protecting you. He's protecting the one touch name. He's just overall keeping it safe. And then why go in there if you're not ready yet? What's the point? You know?
At that point, it's just ego.
Yeah. You can go to any other gym and they'll give you a fight within the first 4 months of you training. They don't care. But Brett, Vinny, and Murph all care about your well-being and for the gym's well-being, just overall. Nothing negative in that gym. It's all positive.
You can feel that.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel that. And I was just talking about with someone else the other day too. No one really has much negative stuff to say. I mean, I haven't heard anything negative about One Touch or Brett or Vinny or Murph. Whereas some other people, there's a little bit of negativity around their names and maybe how they built their gyms or whatever the case may be. But Brett, everyone loves Brett.
Mm-hmm.
I hear the same things. Like Joey. Joey's like, Brett's weird, dude.
Yep. Yes,
He's like, I'll tell him to his face, Brett, you're a weirdo. But again, I have nothing but good things to say about Brett and Vinny and what they do over there. And you guys just got a new building.
Yeah.
That building's pretty sick. I saw that for the first time today. I need to get over there. Ugh.
We're waiting for you.
There. I know. I'm not saying crap because my motto's no excuses. So, we do have a time limit today. So, I always end each show, and you know this because you've been an avid listener. I always end each show with asking for what type of advice would you give, let's say, a young Mack Judo.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you just started Judo. What type of advice would you give yourself as a young person coming from your experience and your wisdom and your knowledge now?
I think it's going to sound a little cliche, but what I struggled with the most in that process is trusting the process. If you're putting in the work,
we were just touching on that too.
Yeah. So if you put in the work and if you surround yourself with the right people and tools, you got to trust the process. It's not going to do anything but good for you if you keep going, keep improving. It'll work out. It'll work out only if your heart's there. If your whole self is there, trust the process. That's the advice.
I like that.
Yeah.
And for anyone, just because we did talk about it and we kind of brushed over it, so I do apologize for that. But, you know, obviously you've been through quite an experience, to say the least, being sexually abused. What would you say to people that might be experiencing the same thing?
I'll say what a lot of people who try helping them say is reach out to somebody who you trust, an adult, immediately, because it just gets worse from there. You're going to just be more lost in life the longer it goes on. You're going to have problems finding yourself. I just started finding myself less than 6 months ago, and it went from this person completely switched to a way better version of me. Of course, I'm still working on myself, and
I was going to say, what is your, when you say I found myself, what does that mean to you?
Mental clarity. I have a lot of mental clarity, and I have never talked to anyone about this besides brushing on it with Juan, of course. And it's just the fact that I'm
just
willing,
a bunch of listeners on a podcast, just wham.
Now I'm just willing to talk about it now, and I think that's a good step of healing because you're able to bring it out. And my intention is to help others who are in it or have been in it.
That's awesome. I'm sure there's like some organizations or something that you can get involved in and use your platform.
For sure.
So, but Mack, it's been awesome. I'm glad we rolled together. We got less polished.
That was so fun.
I really appreciate you coming on and sharing, one, your story, and two, that information that is obviously a big boulder of emotions. So I really appreciate it. And I'm going to see you in the gym, and I got to see you in that gym. And then we can roll some more. I'm going to hip toss your ass again.
Oh, yeah? I'll put you to it.
Yeah.
Thank you for
coming on, man.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate it.